Ackley House. You might think ghosts only exist in legends, but at the house we are about to visit, the existence of ghosts has been recognized by the Supreme Court. Welcome to the Ackley House, the first and only home in the United States declared legally haunted. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let's open the case file on Stambovsky v. Ackley, also known as the Ghostbusters ruling. The story begins in 1967. The Ackley family, George, Helen, and their 4 children, moved from Maryland to this old Victorian house. It had been abandoned for 7 years prior. On their very first day, the neighborhood children warned Helen, "You know you just bought a haunted house, right?" Helen just laughed. But that laughter soon faded. Strange phenomena started happening almost immediately. Their daughter Cynthia, who was in high school at the time, was frequently woken up every morning by an invisible force shaking her bed. It wasn't violent, but gentle and persistent, as if saying, "Time for school." It got to the point where one night, before going to sleep, Cynthia said out loud, "I don't have school tomorrow. Please don't wake me up early." And the next morning, she was allowed to sleep in. But that wasn't all. Invisible footsteps echoed on the old wooden stairs. Doors slammed shut without a breeze. Mysterious gifts appeared. Helen recounted that she frequently received gifts from the spirits, like antique gold rings, silver coins, or small trinkets appearing on her vanity table with no explanation of where they came from. The Ackley family gradually got used to these friends. They identified at least 3 main spirits in the house. First was an older man, dressed in American Revolutionary War attire with a puffy shirt and knee breeches. He would often float in midair, smiling at Helen while she was painting the house. Second was another man, who usually only appeared as a pair of feet wearing moccasins, walking in the hallway. And third was a mischievous spirit, responsible for shaking beds and moving furniture. Helen wasn't afraid. On the contrary, she considered them part of the family. She even wrote an article for Reader's Digest in 1977 titled "Our Haunted House on the Hudson," detailing their peaceful coexistence with the ghosts. Her home became a famous stop on local haunted house tours. Everything remained calm until 1989, when Helen, now a widow, decided to sell the house to move somewhere warmer. She signed a contract to sell the house to a young couple from New York City, Jeffrey and Patrice Stambovsky, for $650,000. The couple knew absolutely nothing about the house's haunted reputation. They put down a $32,500 deposit and eagerly awaited moving day. But then, a neighbor accidentally spilled the beans to Patrice. "Do you know you just bought the most haunted house in Nyack?" Patrice, who was pregnant and very superstitious, was terrified. Jeffrey Stambovsky immediately contacted Helen to cancel the contract and demand his deposit back. He argued that Helen had deceived them by not disclosing the invisible guests. Helen refused. She argued that ghosts were not a physical defect of the house like a leaking roof or termites, so she had no obligation to declare them. Furthermore, she insisted the ghosts were very friendly. The case went to court. At the initial trial, the judge dismissed Mr. Stambovsky's lawsuit based on the principle of caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. The court ruled that checking the house for ghosts was the buyer's responsibility. But Mr. Stambovsky didn't give up. He appealed to the New York State Supreme Court, and this is where history was made. In 1991, the Supreme Court issued a shocking ruling. Justice Rubin, in a legal text filled with ghostly puns, declared, having reported the ghost's presence in both a national publication and the local press, defendant is estopped to deny their existence, and, as a matter of law, the house is haunted. The court reasoned that because Helen had actively promoted the house as haunted to gain fame, She couldn't now turn around and tell a buyer that ghosts aren't real. The fact that the house had a haunted reputation reduced its value, and hiding this information was unfair. This verdict, playfully dubbed the Ghostbusters ruling, changed New York real estate law forever. It forces sellers to disclose psychological defects or a bad reputation of the house if they have previously made it public. Mr. Stambovsky was refunded half of his deposit. Helen later sold the house to someone else, film director Adam Brooks, who wasn't afraid of ghosts at all. After Helen moved out, she claimed she took the ghosts with her, but subsequent owners, including famous singer Ingrid Michaelson and rapper Matisyahu, all said they felt a very special energy in the house. Although they didn't have their beds shaken or see floating ghosts, they all admitted the house had a personality of its own. Today, the Ackley House still stands, overlooking the Hudson River. It has passed through many owners, been renovated and updated, but the title, Legally Haunted House, remains forever. Thank you for listening to the story of the Ackley House. What do you think of the court's ruling? Should ghosts be considered a defect of a house? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because I have many more interesting haunted stories waiting to be told to you.